It's the kind of information Canadians might understandably assume would be handled with caution. Warnings about terror threats, news of thwarted plots to kill people in some of the most mundane places we visit every day, like a shopping mall or a busy street. But today there has been much confusion about whether an American report about possible terror plots in Canada was even real. Security officials were quick to downplay it, but the government was not. The CBC's Catherine Cullen is here with more. Catherine.
Peter, the government won't comment on the substance of this threat, but it still insists that Canadians have something to be concerned about.
Growing concerns this morning about ISIS-inspired terrorism on U.S. targets in Canada.
NBC reported that intelligence sources warned of knife and gun attacks.
The same kind of ISIS-inspired attacks that have prompted worries in other countries.
He described a potential shooting at an unnamed shopping mall or public beheadings. He said the mall plot was foiled, and NBC said none of it ever reached beyond what it calls the aspirational stage. The government wouldn't comment on the specific report, but part of the rationale for sending Canadian fighter jets to Iraq is the threat of ISIS action in this country.
It has specifically targeted Canada and Canadians.
And today, Stephen Harper hammered at the idea of that threat again.
I think Canadians understand the threat from ISIL against this country is very real. This all should remind us that these threats are very, very real.
And just to be sure the message got out, in question period, the Conservatives asked themselves a question about the NBC report.
Yesterday, American media reported that Islamic State sympathizers were planning an attack on the American embassy in Ottawa and on a shopping mall.
A question the public safety minister said he couldn't answer, but he also said the ISIS threat is real.
Our national security agencies are constantly reviewing the threat to our country and taking action to keep Canadians safe.
Just yesterday, security officials said they were investigating 90 people in Canada linked to terrorist groups. And while officials say the threat posed by them is real, it's not imminent.
It's nothing that I think that Canadians need to be alarmed about.
We have no information indicating an imminent attack, but we have to remain vigilant.
But what about that NBC report specifically? Security experts we spoke to are skeptical.
There's no specificity in this thing. There's no target identified. It's just a lot of random chatter.
What it could do is create and sustain a sense of urgency and perhaps fear.
It's also worth noting, Peter, that while the original story on the NBC website had references to that mall plot, those claims have quietly been removed.
All right, Catherine, thank you. Catherine Cullen in Ottawa.